Hey guys, JH. Welcome to Practice Tee. Okay, so today we're going to get into the real important parts of the Davinci Code swing. Okay, so the placement always of this trail elbow is try and feel like it's behind, if you've got a seam in your shirt, it's behind the seam in your shirt and it stays there. And of course, if you do that, you'll end up with this type of configuration in your arm. Now you want to maintain that as long as you can into impact. You want to maintain pressure down in your elbows, well particularly this one, all the time in the golf swing. Even though the arm's going up, the elbows are pushing down. We don't want the elbows to go up like that. There's always pressure in the, and when we start down, there's more pressure in the elbows, and particularly this trail elbow. Guys, I really don't feel a lot happening with the lead arm at all. It just basically gets dragged along for the ride by all of this going on, by the dominant arm. It just does that. Guys, I'm just banished over here today. There's stuff going on over here. Where I put the camera here is crazy. I mean, it's like this. Never make a living as someone doing professional video or setting cameras up. Okay, so it's this feeling, this orientation here. We never want this coming forward or going like that. Yeah. If you can feel that, you won't get that entirely, but that you must have that as an absolutely definite feel. The more you can get that, and the more you can actually drive the pivot with this staying back there, the better you'll hit the ball. Now the other thing that really is important, and particularly for me, is being able to be nice and leisurely on the backswing. When we get this going here, be sort of soft and leisurely as you're getting it up. And try and get to the stage where you're so soft and leisurely that you can really feel the weight of that head there. And why I want you to feel the weight of that head there is that if you feel that there, as you change direction, you'll load the head. You will load it. And as it loads, it really does give you a feeling where it's lagging there and you're pushing this in front of it to the ball. If there's no feeling of that there and you can't feel the head, you can't feel it lagging, it's very hard to get this pushing against that shaft and that head. Very hard to do that. Now for some, this swing is obviously going to be shorter, and so with less duration in the golf swing, it's harder to get the time to actually load that golf club. But you really must do that. It's absolutely vital that you do that. Just this. You really must do that, guys. And if you watch Lee Como, and guys, this is not Lee Como's swing. This is not C motion. This is, I hope to have some element of C motion when I get to talk to Lee and understand it more. But this is basically just a swing with this particular aspect or ingredient in it. Now there's that in Lee's swing, but of course we've got that in Lee's swing too. So if you see that in the swing, that can make you get this type of separation, which in the Davinci Code, I don't feel that. But of course, Lee generates enormous speed through that action there. I haven't got anywhere near that speed, but I'm getting a lot of speed and a lot of impact on the golf ball. So guys, it's got to basically be this. As we fold it, here we've got to feel it. So we've got to fold it, sort of wait for it, and then load it. And then fire that quadrant out to the ball. That's what it's about. And the difference between, you know, really solid, really fantastic striking is that feeling and the loading. when I don't get that, and I get that, you know, for 5 or 10 minutes, sometimes in the last couple of days, you know, everything's still going great, but I just haven't got that super impact that I get when I get that real leisurely type setting of the golf club. Yeah. So it's basically this, guys. Here, load it, feel the load, push the shoulder, the quadrant here, and this arm formation here against the load. Very hard to push that out there if you've got no load, because you've got nothing to push against. So it's very, very important. And I haven't hit any shots today, guys, and it's like doing a video on the surface of the sun today. It's just so hot. Okay, let's hit a couple. Try and be leisurely, Jazz. Got 1 foot in a hole here, and okay, just compensate. Make the compensation. Change the weight around. Get the brain to feel that. There we go, nice and leisurely. Wow. Ooh, that's good for the first shot. Ooh, that's nice. Stiff old swing, but nice. Probably only about 70% of the load I wanted. Now also, guys, you know, grip pressure is such a personal thing. You got to be very careful that you don't get the grip where it's too soft and you're generating a lot of power and you really can't control the golf club. Now it's interesting that Lee Como says that he crushes his left thumb, puts so much pressure there in that lifeline in that right hand. He's got the split grip, don't forget, but he said he crushes it. He told me that personally on a video he did for me. He said he pushes on that thumb so hard. Now I don't do that yet, but I should do that because I think I get a little too soft with the grip. So here we go, guys. We're going to get up there and we're going to feel the load. Like that. Wow, that's good. Oh, I like that. Ooh, that's really nice. Got ya. You got to think about this stuff, guys. You know, really, you just got to think about this stuff. This is early stages, and some of the guys, some of my guys on my roster have just, and they're all enthusiastic guys, not the guys on the channel, but some of my teaching guys, they've just taken it onto the golf course immediately, and they haven't had the success that they wanted, but clearly because they haven't got a program. Guys, you've got to build the program. You can't go and do something you haven't done before, and taking it on the golf course is straight away is too hard. You just won't get the results. You've got to build this in. I'm only playing batches of 6 holes occasionally. I mean, I'm hitting it great, but I'm not. Because I've got my concentration with the last six holes, and I'm trying to build it up. So I'm not taking it out there in combat yet. But I tell you what, the results I've had on the golf course are absolutely stunning. So here we go, guys. We're going to leisurely build it. Ooh, I like that. I just hit a bit more this way. Or this way. Slightly different angle. Come on, Jays. Just build it and load it. It's beautiful. Absolutely lovely. I really like that. It just feels like, you know, such a leisurely golf swing. But I've got to think about that because my normal tempo is not leisurely. Not even remotely leisurely. Soft arms. That's great. That's just so good. And guys, it's a tiny little golf swing, as you can see, but it generates adequate power. Absolutely adequate power. No less than what I generate with a full out maniacal attack on the golf ball. This feels like I'm almost in a sort of a, not a drugged state, but just a very, very soft, laconic state. Come on, so soft here. And guys, the word that's optimum, well, sort of, that is adequately or optimally appropriate to this is acceleration. You must try and get the club going from basically a slow process, and with just a gradual acceleration. We don't want any jump in this swing. Now Lee he's very brisk, but he doesn't jump, not at all. He's quick and he's gyroscopic, but he doesn't jump. He's not antagonistic towards the ball. He just lets this golf club load. Well, guys, I've got to tell you, and you hear it all the time, but I can't hit it better than that. I will never hit the ball better than that. That's just a wonderful. And there's a lot of thought in that, a lot of commitment of thought in that. You've got to think about it. You've got to program it. Just got to think. Got to feel. Got to feel it. Think the feel. Feel the think. That was just beautiful. All right, now I'll do this really, I guess, lethargically, but I'll really build the lethargy in an accelerative manner, if that makes any sense. Probably doesn't. But that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and be super soft, but have really strong acceleration. Not jumpy, just acceleration. Like that. It's just so good. Doesn't move. And guys, it's probably harder for me than anybody, because I don't have that tempo. That's not me. That's not the way I basically conduct myself physically. I'm a really quick, brisk type guy. If you had to describe me in dance terms, I would be a foxtrot or a cha-cha, and you've got to be a waltz. This has got to be a waltz. It's got to be a Sam Snead waltz. So let's go waltzing. You can dance with me any day. Oh, that's good. That is so good. Now a lot of people ask me, and this is just an aside, but a lot of people ask me, how when I get in front of the camera do I manage to hit the ball at least 90% of the time well? I really don't have any, big misses when I'm on camera. And guys, that's because I'm totally committed to the swing. I mean, I know what I want to do, and I absolutely get in that zone of commitment and lock in. I don't let anything distract me. And really, in all the videos I've done over the years, I've hit a handful of shots that have been skunks. But almost too few to even make reference to. And I've always been able to do it. It's because I really am locked in. So when you're practicing, guys, really, really don't let anything distract you. I mean, there are a lot of times when I do videos, I get a lot of people that'll come up and just park themselves behind the camera there, and especially when we're down there and there's a lot of people on the range. And there's a lot of distractions. There's people coming and going. But I just completely isolate, and I just feel like I'm inside the golf swing. And that's what you've got to do when you're trying to learn anything. You have to totally absorb yourself in the learning structure. I say, just don't move. Those shots do not move. Now, is there a characteristic of this swing? For me, yeah. And if you look at Lee's, and I've never seen Lee in the flesh, but I know a couple of guys have, Lee hits it very flat. I mean, he can hit it any way he likes, but his general shot is, because he's such a trapper of the ball, he's got a lot of D-loft on everything. Now, with this swing, I'm not a trapper, but because I'm basically taking the golf club up this way, which is square to square, or shut face for people that don't want to accept that that's square to square, I am hitting the ball lower. And it does have that little power draw. Now, I've always played with really straight flight, but this has, 2-3 yard draw all the time. Now that may suit a lot of people. A lot of people might like that. But because I take it up, I'm basically taking the heel up. I've got the face square to a little bit shut, which is not going to hurt you. Can't hit it better than that. And there's a lot of clamp on that. I don't get a lot of clamp on the ball because I try and sweep it, but it really is downloading. When I get that sort of, that feeling of the club here, and I'm turning against the weight of this here, I get a lot of clamp on it. I mean that ball flight there was really, really powerful. There's a bird over here doing an amazing thing. There's a piece of sort of rope hanging off here, and it's a magpie, and he's trying to shred it in little bits. He must be making a nest somewhere. It's amazing watching him do it. They're amazing birds. I love birds. They're just such amazing creatures. Here we go, we're going to load this. Just try and feel that the acceleration is very gradual, very soft and gradual. Like that. And that's hammer time right there. And guys, tiny little swing. My buddies were saying yesterday, hands are here. How do you generate your speed from there? Because you're pushing the pivot, that's what generates the speed. The actual duration of the swing is not very long. We've got a lot of pressure. We're getting a lot of pressure on the hit. Okay, we're going to pressure this one. Come on, Jay, very laconic. Now, I bet you haven't seen J8 swing that slow. Now, guys, the shape of the shot is very, very consistent because, as I always say, with a little short golf swing that's starting from here, you ain't going to come over the ball. It's not going to do it. Up here, there's always the Zorro. But you can't do that from a low hand base. Just can't do it. They all land in exactly the same place. Hit some down here. I don't know if I can. It's just almost like 30 degrees downhill. I might just go forward here and hit a couple. It might be a long way from the camera, but I'll just hit a couple. That's like 30 degrees down there. Can you see me? So easy to hit. Might just come across a little bit. They just don't move, guys. If it's got one big virtue, it's that, man, you're going to hit it consistently straight. You're going to hit it consistently straight. Man, I just clamped that off like a 1 foot golf swing. It's this long. That just absolutely blitzed it. Just disappear for a bit. I just hit a couple of drives for you. Just got the latest Shrixon 765 driver this morning to try. Beautiful looking golf club. Whew. Something else, really something else. And these new Miyazaki shafts. This is the tour one, this is the 765, the smaller head. And it's got a tour shaft in it, really nice golf club. Okay guys, longer the club, just leisurely. We're just going to build it. See, my arm's in the same place, guys. See this? This is the point I want to emphasise. This never changes from wedge to driver. It's here. And if you can measure up to the golf ball with that bent arm there, you don't have to straighten it that much to hit the ball. Just keep it there and pivot. Just keep it there. Think about the geometry of that. If it's bent like that, at address, think about this. Think about this. If it's bent like that at address there, and the club's directly behind the ball, I don't have to straighten it. All I have to do is turn the pivot through the ball. Just hit one this way. Very leisurely. Oh, that's the first hit with this driver. Wow, does it go? Holy dooly. Oh man, has that got some zip? That's way down there. That is way down there. Tiny little golf swing. Whew. And guys, it's a beautiful looking golf club. Oh, so well made. It's much more solid feeling than the new Mizuno 900 that I've got. Much more solid feeling. Because it's much deeper in the face. Just let that nice leisurely backswing and feel the load against the pivot. Oh man. Talk about hammer time. Okay guys, that's just a little bit for today. We'll just keep doing bits and bits as we go along. But it's so important to just keep this here, feel the lift here, take the club face what you think is square here, and let the club fall and load before you start your movement out to the ball here. Feel it. The head's going to pull the arm back, and then you turn against that loading of the head. Okay guys, we'll do some more tomorrow.